So now let's take a look at an inside hip stretch or an adductor stretch. Now, this is a really challenging place for a lot of people to stretch. It's just a place that gets really sore. It's a place that there's a lot of resistance, and there's a lot of torque in the body. And so I think this is a really important stretch for people to get into or get used to doing. So I'm going to give you a couple different tips on how we can go about it, and a couple variations. The basic stretching position is what's called a butterfly stretch, but we're going to look at that and look beyond that a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to start out by putting the feet together, right, and bringing your heels in towards your midline. Okay. Now just bring them in as far as you can comfortably go. If you can't go that far, that's no problem. Just keep them out, or you can even open up your feet slightly. No problem. No problem. It's not important that we're, that you're like in this huge splayed out position, because you might not be able to get there in the beginning. But even if you are flexible, I always recommend doing the stretch as much as possible. So I'm starting out, feet into the center line. And now I'm going to try to put my hip in the appropriate position. So I'm going to use my fingertips. Because I have a little more space. And walk my hands up so they meet the hips. And from the hips, I'm going to lift up my chest and look up. And what happens when you look up? Right? See, it brings your belly forward and it opens up the hip space. Right? That's the first step. And you can even see, like if you're watching these here, just naturally, I'm just in a relaxed position. Just by looking up, you naturally rock down. And because I'm placing more of the stretch into that area. So after I can do this, what I like to do from this position is just circle around, right? And I'm circling around just so I can get every little piece, every little muscle, because there's lots of different adductors in this region. And if I can get each one of them, it's good, because a lot of times you can find a stretching position that's comfortable, but you're not actually hitting all the muscle groups that do need to be stretched. So while I'm here, right, and circle around, I'm still on my fingertips. If that's a problem, you can just use your palms. That's fine as well. I just like the fingertips because it gives you a little extra push. And this just helps everything open up. Now see what's happening is I'm not circling my head. I'm putting my head forward. It's not stretching the hips at all. But lifting the chest up does, right? Because it changes the position of the stomach and the pelvis. Right? You can go the other way, just to be fair, just to get everything. And after I feel that that's warm, I'm gonna, if I can, move the hands to the front. Now what's important here is if you feel that once you take your hands off, you're about to fall backwards, just keep your hands there, and keep your hands there until you're comfortable going forward. But if you can, bring your hands forward, or eventually when your body opens up and loosens up and lets you, then you can hold onto your feet. Right? You can hold onto your feet and use your forearms. Right? See that? Forearms right against the shins. And that can help me to lift, again, rock forward and lift the chest up. And then I can start to lean my body forward. Okay? See how I'm not just grabbing my feet, yanking my head down, because that's not really going to, again, you're just stretching your back. Do a back stretch for that. The focus is here, and this is where you want to feel it. So here, lifting the chest up, looking up with the chin, holding on, and if I can, using the forearms and bringing the body down. And now I like to rock side to side again to make sure I get every piece. And as I'm rocking side to side, I'm going to slowly bring the stomach closer and closer to the floor. And see, it's not about the head being down, it's about the stomach being down. And the arms are just helping out. The arms are helping because I can use it to support myself, right, against my shins. Okay. If your legs are really tight, you'll feel that they'll be really high. That's all right. Don't worry about it. Just slowly and gradually do this. And once you finish this position, once you feel like you get to a comfortable point and you hold your stretch for at least 30 seconds, right? At least 30 seconds, because if it's less time than that, you're just not giving the muscles enough time to lengthen out. And so once I'm in my final position, I'm resting, I'm waiting about 30 seconds, I'm going to come on up. And now I'm just going to add on to that and open up the feet. And after opening up the feet, I'm going to hold on to the ankles. Right? And again, look up. Bring the chest forward. Right? So this is just another version of what we just did. And then I'm going to do the same thing, tug myself side to side, just so I can get every little piece, or I can even hold on to the inside and pull myself down. Look up, and I'm going to hold this position until I'm ready to move on to the next position, or I'm finished stretching, and finish it there. And what I have this little phone book here, it's a really beat up phone book, just to give you a little variation. If you're really, really tight in the hips, and even doing this position makes you want to roll backwards or fall, get a phone book or an object, or even a few books, stack them up and sit on it. And what that does is it makes it even easier for you to go forward. And you can do all these same exercises now with that little bit of support, that little bit of elevation. And that'll give you, it'll give you a little more space. So if you're unflexible, that's like a stepping stone. And once you're comfortable with that, you can take the book away, or you can just have different levels until you can get to the floor and reach your full strength.